Hello, I'm Nanci Danison, author of the Backwards series of books. I remember dying in 1994 and entering into the afterlife, and I remember living in the afterlife for quite some time before I eventually returned to this body. And while I was there, I realized I had access to all the knowledge of the universe. So I asked, who is God? Who am I? What's the meaning of life? Why am I on this earth? What does God expect of me? The answers to these questions and many more came flooding into my mind, and they were breathtakingly different than what I had been taught in my childhood religion. So I asked myself, well, why didn't my religion just tell me these answers outright? They were so simple and clear and full of love, unlike what I had studied as a child. The answer to my question came in the form of a documentary vision of the entire history of planet Earth, from its creation to its eventual demise. And nestled within the context of that history was the history of human creation of religion and its development through the ages. At the beginning of this documentary, I watched the creation of the universe through the Creator's eyes. Come with me on this journey from the creation of the universe to the creation of planet Earth and all of its inhabitants, including humans. Walk with me as I tell you how I perceived Earth and humans and their activities with the eyes of unconditional love that we all have when we're in the afterlife. Let me share with you the first inhabitation of humans by souls and how religion brings that idea forth with the Adam and Eve story. How early religions were created and how they reflected human viewpoints. Walk with me through biblical times and observe how many things surprise me because they weren't there in human history. We'll talk about the formation of the Christian church and what it means to humans. And then near the end, we'll talk about how Earth eventually enters into a third epoch of peace and harmony, and then becomes uninhabitable. Later in my afterlife experience, I actually merged into the Creator, what I call the Source, and most people call God or Allah. And as glorious as that was, I couldn't help but think to myself, I wish everybody could know what I just found out about life and death and the afterlife and how simple and beautiful and loving it all is. Because if I had known that when I'd been in the body, I would have lived my life very differently, and I would have been a lot happier. So regardless of the fact that it was my time to die, and I was merging back into our Creator to be dissolved permanently, our Source allowed me to come back into this body so that I could share what I had seen and what I'd learned. That documentary vision of Earth's history and the development of religion is the subject of my third book called Backwards Beliefs.